morning, good evening, and hello everyone. Is it good morning for everybody, or is there somebody for whom it's good evening or good afternoon? Please let me know which part of the world you're joining us from today. And I see some new folks here. Anish is new here. Welcome, Anish. I think so. Krish, you have attended a session before, right? So welcome. And welcome, Abhishek, Jishnu, Mithilesh, Sagnik. Those are familiar names. So, Anish, where do you post questions? I will share this coachconnect.e-GMAT.com. This is a microsite where you get all the session recordings. You get the link where you can post a question. And in today's session, what I'm going to do is a couple of things that I have on my agenda. Okay. Hold on one second. Why is this other video coming in? Yeah, so far yeah. All right, so there are a couple of things that I want to definitely do. One is, and I'm writing that down over here. Let me just increase the font. Agenda that I feel based on the videos that I have been reviewing since the last Coach Connect session, and I believe that those learnings, those overall feedback I should be giving to everyone. One thing is, how do you record your error log video? Right, how to record that so that I get all the information in one place, so that I can do a proper causal analysis. Second thing is how to read CR or RC, or for that matter, a DI data set. Okay. There are certain repeatable aspects that I'm seeing across not just one student, but multiple students. And I want to address that part. We have talked about that in the past as well. But despite that, I feel that there is that, I shouldn't say despite that, there is always that reinforcement that's needed. So I'm going to talk about that reinforcement, and I will share. So Abhishek, I believe I have reviewed your video. So is it okay if I share your video as an example of what not to do when you're reading a passage? So if you're okay with that, it was which Abhishek? I have two Abhisheks here. Let me check whose videos I have reviewed. I think it's Abhishek Moharana, right? Yes. So is it okay if I share your video? Because I think it's very important for all of us to understand what do we mean when we are trying to read a passage. What is it that we are not doing right? So Abhishek, if you give me your permission, if you give me your permission, then I will definitely, then I'd like to share your video. Okay, thank you so much. So we will talk about that. And then we are going to take up some questions. So I may change the sequence over here as well. Questions from Smartsheet. Okay. So let's get going with this. Who all have posted a question? Let me take a look at that. Abhishek, you have. Abhishek, both the Abhisheks have. Krish has posted a question, and Sagnik. Okay. All right. So let me first go through some of the questions here in the Smartsheet. We'll start with Krish. Let me see where his question is. Yes. All right. 1 second. All right. So we're going to start off with the questions. This is Krish's question. I hope all of you have put in your email address in the attendance roster. Very important. So please put that there. And folks who are joining us right now, if you have posted a query, then just put it over here. Have you posted a query in the form? Okay. Just put yes so that I'm sure to take your questions first. So here is what Krish's question is. I'm heavily struggling with the verbal section and it's haunting me. Okay, I finished the ER section, but my scores are not good. I'm on to cementing. What should I do? Should I continue with cementing or should I go back to strengthening the skills again? For this, I will need to review your account to see how your course progress has been. Review account. So yeah, let me take a look at that. And where is your email address? Yes, so let's do that. Who else has similar kind of question wherein you have done the course, but you feel you haven't improved? Please tell me that. Okay. All right. So, um, Anish, you have posted a question as well, very basic. That's okay. That's what we are here for. If you want to post your question in the chat over here, maybe the folks who have been with us for quite some time, they can help answer those questions. That would be wonderful as well. Oh, I like what I see here, Krish, in your account. I'm going to share my screen here. Screen, and Devajyoti has the same question. All right, we'll address that. So the first thing that I see whenever I log into a student's account is this study streak rings. Amazing, 100% consistency, 108% diligence, perfect streak. I love that. Last week, perfect align, perfect attendance. Target alignment is needed. So I like this. I am very happy to see this, Krish, and I believe you are you're preparing part time. You are full. You're working professional. I believe I can see that from the hours. Weekends, I want you to increase that attempt. Weekdays are good for you, so that part is nice. All right, so good. So Krish, do you want to talk about this? Krish is here, right? So I like what I see here. And how many of you struggle to spend the time on the weekend? I've been meaning to ask this question because ever since we launched these study streak rings, we've been looking at overall data. And what we have found is that students are able to put in, for those who are diligent, right? Consistency is there, right? But for those who are diligent across the board, they are not across the board, they are more diligent during the week than on the weekend, and that's a little surprising for me given that all of you are working professionals. So I'd like to understand, is this and I see similar stuff over here, that Krish was able to spend good amount of time during the week, but as soon as the weekend kicked in, those hours that I want to see, those 4 to 6 hours that I want to see on both Saturday and Sunday, that doesn't happen. People partying over weekend, okay, we need to talk about that. You need to pause on the partying, or maybe make it a once in a month effort, um, once in a month event kind of thing. So yeah, so I want to hear about this. It's about momentum. Good, Sadhmi, go ahead, let's talk about that. What do you mean it's about momentum? So during the so does it happen like this? And feel free to take the mic and share your views over here. So um, Anish, you're asking good questions about the error log. Hold off on those. We'll talk about that. Please remind me of about that. Okay. So Devajyoti says, I get caught up with household chores, which takes up most of the time. Okay. Where are you at, Devajyoti? Are you in India or are you overseas? Pune. Get help. That's the reason why I asked. Had you been in the US or Europe, I know getting house help is hard, but get house help. Okay. And those are things. Sorry, I started off with the account analysis, but then I think this is an important point to discuss. And Krish, I'd like to hear from you as well. Um, for those, you have to, and those are, weekends for working professionals are supposed to be gold mine of time. Okay. You need to make sure that you can spend the effort over the weekends, right? So if you're spending time partying on the weekend, which is why your sleep cycle goes for a toss, change those habits. Partying can pause. You can resume your partying when you get into your MBA school, okay, of your dream choice, right? Number two, if you're spending your time doing household chores, cooking, cleaning, getting ready for the next week, all those things that need to be done, outsource those. Okay, that's very important. Nobody else can do the learning for you. Nobody else can build GMAT skills in your brain. Okay, you are the butt. Other folks can cook for you. Other folks can clean for you. Okay, so do that. Right now, if it is so what other things do you end up spending time on? Because I don't like to see this, and Krish, you're not the only one who's not been able to spend time over the weekends. Sanchari has been telling me, so our product lead, she's been telling me, Pile, I really don't understand why people are not spending time on the weekend. This is something that we never expected. So I'm glad that we are having this conversation. Nupur, sometimes exhausted by work during the week, then it gets difficult to focus on weekend. That's very interesting, Nupur. And I think there are certain measures that you can take. For example, um, figure out what rejuvenates you. This is all about getting ready for that next sprint that you have to do over that weekend. Okay. It's about that. One thing that happens with all of us is what the week gives us is a structure. You have to get to work, right? To get to work, you have to leave at a certain time. There is that structured timetable that has been set for us during the week, thanks to our office routine that we have, right? And because that structure already exists, we automatically go in that autopilot to execute, to run on that structure. Now, all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, as soon as the weekend kicks in, that structure is gone, right? Which means it's that much more important for you to bring that structure over the weekend, for the weekend. So that is where you bring in the structure. Does that make sense? And I'll tell you, I have experienced this a number of times. For me, not because I don't want to, because I want to relax. It's just that I have to balance my, during the week. I know I love working, right? So during the week, I know that I have to. I have this time set from 7:30 till 6:30 that I have to be at work. I have to be dedicated to what my mission is. As soon as the weekend comes in, now I have to see, okay, that expectation is gone, and now I have to kind of structure, I have to kind of balance the expectations between my want to be at work versus my want to spend time with my family or to do things that are required for me to do, right? Which is why I always have a very clear expectation of what, when I'm going to do what, and during the weekend, and I make sure that I communicate that to the folks who are connected with me during the weekend. And that includes my husband, that includes my kids, that includes my parents, and so on and so forth. That includes my friends, right? So it's very important to bring that structure, and you are the only one who can bring that structure to your weekends. Okay. All right. So how many of you are going to try this out? Okay, and what I want to see is on Friday, and here is the homework, and I know we didn't do our last time's homework as well, but here's the homework. What we're going to do is, I am sharing the screen, right? Yeah, homework for Friday. All of you are going to tell me, send me a plan for your weekend. Okay. And when I say plan for the weekend, I'm not saying that do not have fun at all. You need to have fun. You need to put in those relaxation hours. You need to put in those go party, but don't party till 2 a.m. such that you're not able to wake up in the morning, right? So those are things, but set aside time for yourself so that you know this is the time that you will study. This is the time that you're going to spend with your family. This is the time that you're going to spend for yourself. Okay. So think about that. And I want you all to share your plan, not send me the plan, but share your plan over here for the weekend. And I would actually suggest, actually put the plan. Let's change that. Put your plan in the smart sheet form. Okay. I want you all to do that. All right. So 1 second. Okay. Make sense, everybody? Okay, let me read what Neha is saying. I become lazy at home. I usually study at office and they are more productive than at home. I stay at home in the weekends, but I keep lazing and procrastinating. All the more required for you, Neha. Create that structured plan. That's going to solve all your problems. Okay. Again, these kinds of problems. All right. Abhishek, when I was working, I cut off from everything. We have to learn to say no for the things that are coming in the way of study. But I've quit the job because I get exhausted because of timing issue. All right, Abhishek, that's a different thing. But I have to see what your planner, what your study streak rings look like. If you are spending the right amount of time, and if you are diligent, consistent, those need to be close to 100%. If that's there, then I'm good with it. Okay. Partying on the weekends, Sagnik, has some negative effect on the GMAT. Post it. I don't even feel like sitting and studying the next day or two. Well, Sagnik, you have to see what's important for you. That's where the why comes into picture. Is partying today more important than, your dream school? Or, you have to make those sacrifices. Again, I'm not saying don't party at all, but be cognizant of that. Okay, that's very important. Okay. And I'll give you an example. I'm during the week, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, right? I have so I do my workout, I'm done, and I'm at work at 7:30 a.m., right? Now, over the weekend, I do I do like to have, at least one night wherein I can just be by myself and I can do things that I enjoy, and I love singing. And that's okay for me, because I then decide that if I'm spending Friday night just, relaxing and singing, and I can go on till 1 a.m. In the next morning, I will wake up late. And that's okay for me. So, but I plan for that. But then Sunday morning, I again wake up at 4:30 a.m. because I know I don't want to change my body clock a whole lot such that it becomes difficult for me to revert back to the regular schedule during the week. So don't give your body those kinds of shocks. Okay, that's something which I will definitely suggest. Okay. All right, so let me come back to, sorry for that segue, but I hope that segue was important for everybody. Oh yes, 4:30 a.m. That's been our thing since the last, I would say, 2 years. No, since the last 1.5 years. All right, so let me take a look at how the course attempt has been for Krish. And I will say one more thing as this thing is loading. I am not a morning person. I have trained myself to become a morning person because that's what is required for me to be able to deliver on the expectations that I have set for myself, right? So again, a lot of times people say I'm not a morning person, so I cannot do this. You can do anything that you set your mind on. Okay. All right. So let's come here. So first red flag, Krish, I don't like a B grade in master comprehension course. If you're getting a B in master comprehension, then you're not studying the right way. That's the first red flag. Reason being, 90% of people who go through master comprehension course score A or A minus. Okay. B, it's about, I would say, 5-6% of folks score B, and C remaining 5%. Okay, remaining 4%. So yeah, so this is a big red flag for me. Let me take a look at your. Yeah, you have to go back to the course. Mohit joined at the right time here. In fact, we had similar experience with Mohit. He had actually scored B or a C in master comprehension, and then he had B, right? So same thing over here, as with Krish. And he and we had a conversation in one of these Coach Connect sessions, and then he actually had a huge turnaround, major turnaround, wherein the entire CR course he actually got an A or an A minus, right? So I will. Yeah, so you need to redo the course, Krish. I'll set up a reminder for myself, reminder for Pire, send the recording in which we talked about, in which Mohit was given this feedback. Okay, so I'll share that. So you need to do, so Krish, do not even think about doing cementing. You need to first fix your course, Krish. Does that make sense? Fix your course. Okay. Do not do cementing. First revise the course with the right mindset, with the corrected mindset. I won't say it. I will tell you that I will send you this recording because I've already explained all of this multiple times. So I'll send you a couple of recordings in which I talk about this. Okay. All right, Krish. So I will do that right after this. All right. Okay. So I will take up, somebody requested me to take a query after, let me see, who said that? Sadnik. Okay, I will do that. Right, I'll take Sadnik's query next. Now, Parth, you are studying Quant right now. That's good. I was thinking of doing comprehension session for CR today, but I changed my mind and but I will talk about this right now. I want to, so let me go back over here. Um, I will talk about this part over here, how to read CR, RCDI. I will do a reinforcement over here. So I'll talk about that. But I'll see how you guys receive this message. Okay. And then based on that, I will do a CR. I'll decide whether I need to do a CR comprehension session or not. Okay. So do stay here, Parth. Okay. Saurav, I haven't gone through your DI error log video yet. I will review that today and I'll give you feedback. So if you need to leave, you can definitely leave, because the kind of questions that we are talking about today, you already know that. You are reading the right way. So you need a very specific set of guidance. So I will send you a video response. Okay. I hope your daughter is doing better now. I know life happens, right? So yes. All right. Okay. So let me take up Sagnik's question now. Do I have? Okay, not everybody has put in their email addresses in the attendance roster. I want you all to please do that, because that's very important. Sagnik, okay, I have your email address here. Let me see. Okay, let's write this down. I'm glad to hear that she's better, Saurav. See, those are things that are not in our control. So we have to work around it. I mean, kids always get a priority, which is where there are other things that need to take a back seat. And GMAT prep is one of those things. So, but partying, definitely not. All right, so let's read this. Hello, Pile. I hope you're well. Yes, I'm well. Thank you so much, Sagnik, for asking. In intervention value, completed CR course, had fun learning concepts, did well in the learning bit, medium cementing. That's good. I love your medium cementing scores. Hard cementing, my learned approach. Yes, your learned approach took a toss. You already know what happened in hard cementing, Sagnik. Accuracies were 30% and 10%. I'm not able to, hence, okay, question time constraint, not able to come up with a scenario. Yes, the level of visualization of sentences takes a toll. Yes. Okay, I'm reading through this. I tried to fix, got a 50% accuracy. That's good. Very nice. How did you fix this, Satnik? You want to take the mic?
Sure. I think
Okay.
you can hear me well.
Yes, I can hear you, Satnik. Yeah. You're
So the
very
first two
expressive.
quizzes.
Good job there.
So yeah, it was quite a time me figuring out. But the first two quizzes were really a bit difficult. I scored 30% and 10%. I think it was a bad day maybe, or but what I figured
Mhm.
it out was that the visualize. I was not understanding the option choices correctly. So what happened is I used to take 1.5 minutes to read a particular argument. I realized that my assimilation and recalling power has to improve. So I used to take up to 1.5 to 2 minutes to read the argument, and then I used to take another 1.5 to 2 minutes to go through the option choices. So there was
Mm-mm.
always a time constraint when I was going through the option choices. So I was not understanding them well and then analyzing. So मैं पहले ही analyze कर देता था. So I
Mm-hmm.
changed that approach and I started understanding what the passage, what the option choices mean, and then hence there was a jump in accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good. So now what's the
but
problem?
now the problem is how I'm not really 100% confident as to how can I take this further. Should I do hard cementing quiz again, or like what is it that I need to fix? Because concepts, the place I'm coming from is the concepts and everything is fine. I mean, just like I had mentioned also in assumption
Mhm.
questions, I'm able to ask the falsification question. I'm able to understand the logic. But the thing is, I'm not being able to come up with a falsification scenario per se. So
Okay. Got it. Got it. We will
yeah,
talk
so
about this. Have you ever submitted an error log video, Sagnik?
no, ma'am.
No? Okay. Don't call me ma'am. Pile is good.
Uh,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you've never submitted an error log video. Okay. So that's a question which Parth also has, kind of. That's a question that
Mm.
Abhishek also has. And so I will talk about all of this together. Okay. So
Okay.
good. So you have to leave at 9:15, you said, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, good, good. You're a quick learner. I like that. So how many of you, and let me remove this poll. So okay, let me just make that into a yes no thing. 1 second. Uh, how many of you are facing issues that we just talked about that Sadhnik is, or along those lines? Press yes if you are. And how many of you are past those issues? I know Saurav is past those issues and Saurav has left for the right reasons. Good. All right. So all of you are. So my next set of conversation or discussion is going to be along those lines. Okay. And let me just tell you first, when I looked at Sagnik's account, his account shows that he has done the course well. Okay. And actually, let me share. And that's where you guys can see the difference between the feedback I gave to Krish versus the feedback that I'm going to give to Sagnik. So here is his course. You can see just only B grade that he got was in the first module, remaining 3 modules, A grades, which means that he is in the top 85 percentile. So he's in the 85th percentile of all eGMATers who have gone through this course. Now, what that does is that increases your propensity to pass medium cementing. Okay, and that is something which is evident over here. He had no problems passing medium cementing. Okay, and he passed medium cementing with flying colors. Okay, why did that happen? This happened because when he was going through the course, right, what happened is that he had developed those neural connections, and those neural connections were established enough, were solidified enough, such that he could apply that process naturally on medium difficulty level questions. Okay, and that is what shows over here, that he was naturally able to apply the process and get the desired outcome. But that process, as in his words, went for a toss when he came to hard cementing. Now, it's not that he cannot solve hard questions. It's just that he wasn't applying the process because he came under the timing pressure. That's what happened, Sagnik, right? So what happens is when we let go of the process that we have invested so much time building, right? And that's when we start to see these disappointing results. So you are the one who's causing this problem for you. You are the one, when I'm saying Sagnik, so I'm using your scenario, but you can see that almost everybody over here is in the same boat. Okay. So when think about this, you have spent all this time, at least 2 weeks, going through the CR course, going through medium cementing, right? Now, as soon as you come into the hard questions, when you have to now you have to take those neural connections and make them more solid. But now all of a sudden you let go of the process. Okay, and that is absolutely devastating for your performance, for your GMAT, for how you will express yourself, because you're not building that ability anymore. So this is something which it has to be solved. Okay, and you are the only one who can solve that problem. When I say you, each one of you students, I'm seeing same issues with Parth. I'm seeing same issues with Abhishek. I'm seeing same issues over here with Sadhnik. Now, how do you solve that problem? What you do is you don't let go of the process. Over here, I don't care, and I've said this multiple times. I don't care whether you. Okay, what parallel did I give in the last session where I said, so does anyone remember? What did I say? That when you finish a quiz, what should you be able to tell me with utmost confidence? Does anyone remember? I've been saying that in the past 2 Coach Connect sessions. What do I want you all to certify? Let's see what kind of retention you guys have. Yes, ability to teach was one of the things that I said. Absolutely. And that's going to be the feedback to Krish when he goes back to the course, whether we were able to put the process in place. Absolutely, Mohit. And what was the little reminder that I told you guys? It's along those lines, yes, whether we were able to, that you've applied the process, not focusing on time. Yes, absolutely right. Now, the thing which I told you, the checklist item that I told you was the way you have to testify in the court that, whatever I'm saying is absolutely true. So whether in the American courts, you actually swear on the Bible, and then in the Indian courts, you do the same thing on Gita. That's the level of conviction, confidence that I want each one of you to have when you are solving one question in that cementing quiz. As soon as you hit that submit button, you should be able to say with utmost confidence, Pire, I have applied the process to the best of my abilities. I have not cut any corners. So, Sagnik, Parth, Abhishek, these are the three folks. So I've reviewed error log entries of Parth and Abhishek. Sagnik, I've just now taken a look at your account. Can you tell me, can you certify that you have answered each one of these questions to the best of your abilities? Because if you cannot do that, yes or no, tell me that. No. So you are failing me. That's what you're doing. You're failing yourself, you're failing me. Because I cannot teach, I cannot pinpoint issues if you cannot certify that you have applied the process to the best of your abilities. And Parth, if you're saying yes, I can see that effort in your, so what are you saying yes for? That you've applied the process to the best of your abilities? Okay, so that's where I can do course correction. Yes, absolutely, Sagnik, you can speak over mic. Anybody can take the mic at any time. Yes,
All
go
right.
ahead, Sagnik.
So I want to understand this a little better. So you said that
Yes,
I need to understand one question with 100% conviction. So is this irrespective of the time? Let's say I've taken 10 questions on
yes.
the standard hard cementing quiz, relaxed time. I have 3 minutes per
Forget
question.
about that.
So I'll
Forget
forget
about
about
time.
time and just focus on the
Yes,
process, right? It doesn't matter
yes.
if I'm only being able to do 6 questions.
Absolutely fine. You get me those
Oh,
6 questions. You get me 90% you get me 100% accuracy in those 6 questions. Five out of 6 questions you answer correctly. I'm absolutely fine with that. That's upwards of
mm,
70% accuracy, right? I'm
all right.
absolutely fine with that.
So
Okay, because
that's what I
then,
did.
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, that's
go
what I
ahead, go
did
ahead, go
in
ahead.
my that's what I did in my 50% like accuracy wala quiz. Like
Mhm.
I got only one question wrong. Attempted maybe five, 6 questions if
Mhm.
you go on that
No.
attempt.
Oh, okay. Let me take a look at that. Yes,
There is
if that's what you did, then
50%.
that's,
I think that was
let's look at
50.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
I've attempted
you got one.
some
Mhm.
7 or something questions, and I got only one of them wrong.
No, you got three wrong here.
Oh, three wrong.
Three wrong here. So, as see, if you can certify over here that you have applied the process to the best of your abilities, right? Which means that there are these indications, right? If you look at the answer choices, and these are indications that I want everybody to make a note of, okay? After reading the passage, if you look at an answer choice and you feel the need to go back to the passage to understand the logic of the passage, that means you haven't understood the passage. If you end up selecting an, so that's so number two, if you look at an answer choice and you know in your mind that it's wrong, right? And parts that this is to your strengthened question that we were talking that we have been discussing on. So you know that that question is wrong, that choice is wrong, but you have rejected choice C because you didn't really understand the logic of the passage, then that's another issue over there, right? So if you are spending way too much time rejecting answer choices, then that means you haven't understood the logic. That's number one indication. your clarity of passage, your understanding of the passage needs to be that strong that answer choice analysis becomes a cakewalk, except for in boldface questions. Because in boldface questions, you really have to spend time dissecting the answer choices. You have to break those answer choices down, which is where people take longer to answer boldface questions. Right, but then there again, you shouldn't really have to go back and figure out that what is the relationship between the two boldface segments, right? That part needs to have been done when you're doing passage analysis. But when you're looking at the answer choices of boldface, you're purely simplifying these answer choices, and because of the complexity of those answer choices, you may end up taking longer analyzing those. That's the only exception. Or maybe where there are those parallel scenarios, because then you have to simplify those parallel scenarios. Does that make sense? Because if that makes sense, we can talk about another aspect, which I want each one of you to be careful about. Comments? You guys can take the mic and talk.
Actually, you are 100% right. I was going back to the passage after reading, let's say, options choice C and E. So this is what just struck me right now, that I'm not doing it correctly. Maybe I've got 80%, 90% accuracy in medium cementing. That does not make any sense because I'm not getting it right for the right reasons. So,
Tell me
uh,
again.
so I'm saying,
Explain to me. Yeah.
yeah, I'm saying my accuracy in medium cementing as well does not make that much sense because I'm not getting it right for the right reasons. Because there is a natural tendency of me going back to the argument when I encounter easy choices, hard choices, irrespective. So I think I need to
Mhm.
work on this bit a lot. That
Good.
there is a natural thing. I mean, it's just muscle memory that acha, your option choice hai. Let me go back. What is it that is mentioned? So
That's a very good realization, Sadnik. So here's what I would suggest. I don't think you need to go back to medium passages just yet. Um, but all the hard questions that you've attempted, whether you got them right or not, start with the ones that you got wrong. And then I would suggest just don't even look at the choices. Just spend the time on the argument. That's what you need to do.
all right.
Okay, just spend the time on the argument, understand each and everything in the argument, and that's where I want to share one error log entry that I got. So Abhishek, did you send that to me in the Smartsheet form or in the chat? Let me just take a look at that. One second. Let me see. Yes, I see it here in both. Yes. All right. No, not this one. Wait a minute. Stop sharing. One second. This is not the one that I have reviewed. But this is the next one that you sent. Okay. Yeah, I haven't reviewed this one yet. Okay. Parth, I haven't gone through your message yet. Arshia, I will take up your question. Don't worry. Okay. So one problem that I've seen with lots of folks is that they do read the passage slowly, but they end up generalizing the passage. For example, over here, so when Abhishek is reading this, people love chocolate for its taste and health benefits, but not many are aware that chocolate can be quite toxic when fed to dogs. So here, when he was reading this, and if I can get the transcript, let's see, can I? No, I can't get the transcript. So here, what he's saying is sounds like a general fact or a general principle. People love chocolate for its taste and health benefits. Then, when he is coming to the next part, not many are aware that chocolate can be quite toxic and quite toxic when fed. Now, there is a what he said is there is a yeah. So here what he said was sorry, just trying to find. Let me see. Can I download captions? Let me just download the captions. Second. Okay. So, not many are aware that this can be quite toxic. Moving on to the next sentence, there is a nucleus to this fact. I think there is another because there is a but over there. Now, this fact must be referring to. So again, it says unknown because we know the author. Okay, this thing is not very good translation. So here, basically, what I'm saying is um, that instead of getting into the specificity of the passage, what students end up doing is that they end up generalizing information in terms of this is a general fact, there is this keyword which is now giving something that is against that general fact. And so what happens is that you are able to get to a very you take the specifics out and you get to a very general idea about the passage. That is very wrong. That is detrimental to your understanding of the passage. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? Or do you want me to share this recording with you so that you can see it for yourself? Does that, I mean, are you guys able to visualize this? Because I know that the script wasn't very good. The transcribing was not very good natively. Share this one? Okay, so let me share this. Yeah. So why don't you go through just the first line over here where he's going through this. And thank you so much, Abhishek, for allowing me to share this because this is going to be very helpful. Yes. So why don't you first watch the first part of the recording? Um, Maybe watch it till you can watch the whole thing. Spend 5 minutes just watching it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Let me know when you're done watching. Okay, so who wants to? Do you guys see what I was talking about? It's a very nuanced thing. Okay, go ahead. Hmm. Good, Neha. I'm happy to see that. See, I'm happy when we can figure out where you guys are faltering because then we know what we have to fix. Okay, that's an interesting point, Neha. I will ask you more about that. Arshia, right after I finish this conversation, I will take up your questions. Okay, are we done reading? Okay, so do you guys see where what I was saying about generalizing the stuff? So essentially, what's happening is instead of going into the depth of the passage, of the context of the scenario, some of the students what they do is they start to figure out the structure of the passage in terms of this is a fact, this is a claim, this is going in opposite direction and all that stuff, right? Those that while that's important and very rightly said, Parth, classification of statements is required for boldface, but that too after understanding the context of the passage. Okay, so one huge change, so I won't call a huge change. What I would suggest is whenever you have that passage in your mind, before you start reading any kind of passage, whether it's RC, whether it's CR, just tell yourself, I want to my goal is to understand everything that is there in the passage. My goal is to be able to be part of that conversation that's happening in that passage. Okay. It's almost like when you read a passage, it's usually an argument, right? So you should be able to see the argument that's happening. You should be able to see what is party A saying, what is party B saying, where is party A differing from party B. It's almost like that movie scene that is being enacted in front of you. Now, when you watch a movie, you're not think or when you watch an ad or when you watch a video, you don't think about, okay, this is a fact, this is a claim, this is now going in opposite direction. Yes, you have to keep track of that, but you don't stop there, right? When somebody is making a claim, right, in your mind you do register that, oh, this guy is not talking about a fact, this guy is stating a claim, which means he may have to provide reasoning for that claim, right? So you think about that part, right? But you don't lose focus of what is happening in the scene, right? All of a sudden, you'll always remain immersed in the scene when you're watching that video, when you're watching that episode, when you're watching that movie. Have that same mentality when you're reading a CR passage or that RC passage. Does that make sense? Don't lose sight of what's happening in the scene. Right now, what was happening was that you guys were losing sight of what was happening in the scene, which is why you essentially are not able to, even though you're spending the time on the passage, you are not extracting everything from the passage, own that data set. So when I say that you should be able to explain that scenario to a friend or to a colleague, how will you explain that scenario when you are simply on the surface that the author talked about a claim, then the author went in an opposite direction, and then the author related these two things? You can't be in that generalization plane. You have to be in the detail of that passage. Okay, now for those of you who can relate to this problem, I want each one of you to write down what is it that you're going to fix. Write it down right now. Take 2 minutes to write that down. What was the mistake? What are you going to fix? Yes, okay, that's a very well thought out thing, Anil. There's a difference in treating a framework as a framework and treating it like a math formula. Frameworks need tweaks and application, unlike formula. Yes, but elaborate on that a little bit more. You're still on that. I mean, I can see formula is a fact. You can't change that formula. Framework, you have to make it your own. Absolutely right. I completely agree with you. And which is where your falsification scenarios, for those of you who were asking me about falsification scenarios, that's a framework. That's a framework that helps you understand the passage. Okay. When you are in the test environment, or even when you are in this thing cementing phase, you will no longer be, I don't expect you to think about it in terms of falsification scenario. I myself don't think about it in falsification scenario anymore, right? Reason being, falsification scenario is a way to create those neural connections in your mind. Okay, once those neural connections are created, then then you need to go in that autopilot mode. It's the same way when you're learning to ride a bike, right? At that time, you're thinking about, okay, I need to maintain, so I need to keep my weight on the seat. I need to pedal in this way, right? Now, when you know how to bike, all of that stuff happens automatically, right? So, falsification, so you have to understand the spirit of falsification scenarios. Okay. So Mohit is saying, so yes, to Anil's point, the process that you have or the framework that we teach you, you have to make it your own. Okay. When we talk about, and in terms of pre-thinking, and this was a very, I won't say a revelation, but I realized that when I was reviewing Parth's entry, and thank you, Parth, for sharing that. And then Abhishek's entry further cemented what my take on this was. When I ask you to read the passage completely, to visualize the passage, to make those interlinkages, what's happening is you're getting to that deep understanding of the passage, right? Now, when you do pre-thinking, there is that generic pre-thinking, right? Which is always going to be along the lines of the passage. And then I ask you to also think about some specific scenarios, right? Now, if you have a solid understanding of the passage, plus generic pre-thinking, that should be enough for you. That may be enough for you to address the answer choices. Okay, but if you have specific pre-thinking scenario as well, along with solid understanding of the passage, then that's golden for you. Then answer choice analysis will be this quick. Okay, but the key thing over here is something that you cannot lose sight of, is that solid understanding of the passage, wherein you understand what the author was saying, you visualize the scenario. Now, that visualization can either be in terms of, numbers, can either be in terms of, can be in terms of creating diagrams. Anything that you have to do to get into the heart of that passage, that is a must. Okay, and then you come up with the generic pre-thinking, and if you can, build your muscle to come up with specific pre-thinking as well. Because if you have solid understanding of the passage, and if you have the generic pre-thinking frameworks, which is what we teach you through the logical gap, through the two segments, comparisons, and so on and so forth, right? So if all of that is there, then specific pre-thinking will automatically come. But it all starts with solid understanding of the passage. Okay, so let me read the comments now. Now, Mohit, you're saying pre-thinking and overthinking. I think students are not even thinking right now. Okay, overthinking is not coming into picture because they are staying on the surface when they are talking about this is a claim, this thing is going in opposite direction and things like that, right? Which is where when I saw in Abhishek's analysis where he understood the second line in the context of what had already been said, I was very happy because I want to see that kind of interlinkages to happen. So it's not like you cannot do that. All of you can do that. All of you have that skill set. It's just that you're not applying that skill set. And I want you to start applying that skill set. Okay. You just need that tweak in your mind, in how you approach CR. Okay. All right, so let me read Nupur's on the passage, be immersed while reading. This will help me correct my mistake when I keep going back to the passage when I read choices. Good, Nupur. Devajyoti, I've been following the 3 steps, making notes from errors that I made, tried implementing them, but I faced trouble in implementing. The time has reduced from 12 to 14 minutes to 6 to 8. Okay. So, Devajyoti, I believe what you should do is, and I haven't taken a look, so I haven't looked at your account, but I believe what you have to do is fix your reading first. Forget about answer choices. Just understand the passage. That is what is needed. Okay, so that is a must here. Anil is saying, so again, don't worry about timing right now. I know you're taking 12 to 14 minutes that to solve a question. It shouldn't happen. You shouldn't take that long. So I have to, okay, let me see what Anil is saying. Sometimes I used to think pre as formula and got lost in the haste. Okay, needed to get back to a few details, sometimes also answered as an assumption that haste used to mid settle. Yeah. Okay, good. So now you guys know you guys have a path forward. Yes, involving yourself completely in the passage. Okay. Um, extra mile that I can take to work on my comprehension ability, maybe reading tough journals, etc. Let me think about this. Let me see what I can do for you guys. Ideally, I would have wanted you guys to fix this on your own. But because there are so many of you who are facing this issue, let me try it out on your own. That's what I would suggest. Okay. But let me see if I can do something on Friday. I won't promise for Thursday. I'll see if I can put together something for Thursday or Friday. Let me think about that. Okay. All right. But you guys have to just go into the depth of the passage. Just take my word for it. Do it for 10 passages. You will get this. Just forget about that. This is a CR question. Get into the depth of the passage. Why don't we do this? Forget about that. This is a CR question that you have to answer. Just go completely into the depth of the passage. That is what is required for you to do RC for data insights. Okay. Mithilesh, what is this link that you've shared here? Essays. Okay. You can read this, but for RC improvement, okay. See, I would not suggest that because I don't know who has written these, right? And RC, and there is I would not even suggest LSAT passages for RC practice. Okay. Please don't go anywhere out, please. The content that you have on the platform is enough. Okay. So you don't really need to go anywhere out. You just have to change your mindset. Please take my word for it. Okay. Maybe I'll do something on Thursday to make you guys realize that because new content is not going to do anything for you. See, the reason why I would not recommend reading anything outside where I cannot I cannot warrant the quality because there is your reading strategies come from writing strategies. right? When I say that when you read, you have to relate information back, there is that inherent assumption there that the passage has been written in that manner that you can relate information back and forth, right? So that is very important. All right. So stay over here. Do not go anywhere. Okay. When I say do not go anywhere, don't go anywhere out to practice for that. Right now, just take up 10 passages from the eGMAT platform itself. Read it with that right intention. You just have to change your intention. Okay. Parth, one quick thing. You have sent me some stats with regards to your performance. Is that for CR or is that for Quant? Sorry, I couldn't get the context, and I can check your account and figure that out, Parth. Okay, good. CR. So the feedback helped. What changed, Parth? Please do tell me about that. Um, okay, I have to take Arshia's question, and then Jishnu, I will take your question. Okay. So I hope that all of you got benefit from this exercise of, you know, doing a deep dive into how is it that you should be reading. Let me take now Arshia's question. She's been very patient. All right. Okay. Okay. Good part. How? What made that change happen? So, Arshia, let me also log into your account because I need to see that before I give you any recommendation. Okay, Bhargav, your question is on quant. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Yes, Parth, you have a request to share how your process application has improved. Okay. So this is Arshia's. Okay, I can see good amount of time being spent. I love this last week performance, Arshia. Really good job. I like this 100% consistency, diligence, 111%. Very good. I like that. Okay. So let's look at your question is, I'm going to go down to your question. I should focus on verbal first. Okay, let's look at your study plan. Your plan. Okay. 79 in verbal, quant 81. Okay. So your question is, I know data points out that it's better to do one section 6 hours of verbal. Okay. I'm definitely okay with you doing quant and verbal together as long as I can certify that you are studying the right way. So let me take a look at your account and do that. Get that confidence that you're studying the right way. And good. I like the A grade here. Very nice. Let's look at CR. Okay, you're trying. Well, you're doing well. I like that. Although I'm not sure why. Why have you not? Okay, this is level 1. Let's see this. Good. You can do quant and verbal together. Absolutely fine. Just follow the study plan as is indicated for quant. So I believe for quant you will need to do cementing, I guess. Let me see. Yeah, so you'll finish quant basics course and then you'll do cementing and number properties and then you will do the course for number properties as needed. So yes, Arshia, you can definitely do that. Okay. I hope that helps. And then you had this other question with regards to inference. So I hope that that has been taken care of, right? Because you've already moved forward. Any other question that you have? How many hours is she studying? She's planned for about 5 hours every day, 6 hours on the weekend. Okay, good, Arshia. I would suggest that once you do quant basics, after you do number properties cementing, just touch base with me. I'd like to make sure that you review the skill data appropriately. Okay, so we can probably take a so if you're working, so I would say you should be able to finish quant basics within a couple of hours, given your starting point, and then another 3 to 4 hours for cementing. So Thursday, please so on Thursday, please put a question in the Smartsheet form telling about your experience with cementing. And then in the session, we will take a look at your skill data and come up with a plan for your number properties course. Okay. That way, folks who are at a high level in quant can see this in action. All right. Sounds good, Arshia? And maintain your study streak rooms. Okay. All right. So there was Jishnu's question. So let me take a look at that. Okay. So Jishnu, your question seems to be about your account analysis. Sagnik, I have already reviewed your account, right? What did I say about your account? Are you preparing the right way? No. Yeah, you got C grades. No, sorry, I'm getting confused now. Oh wow, Arshia, you're spending 4 hours, 5 hours a day with full-time work?
Ma'am, I got all A's in CR.
Oh,
That.
sorry, Sagnik. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes. So Krish was the one who got C's. You got A's, but then and you did well in cementing. Yes, thank you. Yes, so you can do that, Sagnik. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So Arshia, be little bit careful. I know you're trying to put in 5 hours during the weekdays. Let this not create a burnout for you. Okay, so be careful about that. Be very cautious of when you may hit that, that point wherein you cannot manage this anywhere, right? So to having full-time job and doing this, both of these can be very difficult, right? So make sure that you have enough relaxation, rejuvenation, so that you can maintain this, because preparing for GMAT is not a sprint, right? Preparing for GMAT, when I asked you about that weekend thing, considering that as a sprint, that is one thing, right? But in the long run, it's a marathon, 2 to 3 month long marathon. So make sure that you're pacing yourself well. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got distracted here. Jishnu, I need your email address. So let me see. Is it here? Yes, I see that here. Okay, one more thing that I will tell you guys is if you guys also have to draw inferences from when I do account analysis, and then you should be able to draw inferences based on that account analysis into your specific case. Okay, that's important, right? Because it cannot be possible for me to review each and every one's account, right? So I want you guys to start drawing inferences as well, right? So here, strong hours. I like that. I like this. Although I'd like you to be. Um, Weekends is the problem. You have to put an effort on the weekend. So we've already talked about that. Let me now take a look at your performance here, Jishnu. I like that. Okay, this is something that I don't like. So what do you want me to talk about, Jishnu? We've already talked about this stuff, right? Where is your question? Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying that although the grades are not in line, but I see that the performance is not very consistent. At times, I have scored A grades where people are still in the range of 50% or 35%. So I'm not
Okay,
able
okay.
to understand what is going on.
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Uh, hmm. I think you have to ask yourself when you have scored C grades. So this is a very interesting question. When you're scoring worse than median, how has your thought process been when you were attempting those files? Were you distracted? Were you tired? Because you're absolutely right. There are these files in which you are scoring 100% in the first attempt, wherein median score is 67%. So amazing. This file, again, did your attention dwindle? Because if you performed at that level in the first pre-thinking file, then what happened in the second pre-thinking file? Then again, segments, you're doing really well. Then fourth file, so are you getting tired? That is my first question. Are you distracted when you were doing files in which you scored lower than A grade? Because you definitely have the ability, you definitely have the concentration when you are working on those specific files. So that's a good question to ask, and I'm very happy that you're asking that question, Jishnu. So, but the answer needs to come from you. What happened with this assumption practice file one, wherein you could barely answer any question correctly? So, do you have an answer to that?
I mean, I did analyze my mistakes. It was mostly on answer choice analysis, or I mean,
It's more
maybe
than mistake.
I didn't
I think
pay.
this is more.
Sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't comprehend the passage properly and then started answering. I think
See,
these were the two cases. Yeah.
okay, but why did you not comprehend the passage? Because the thing is, had I seen the question that you're asking is very solid because this is all percentile, right? Um, 75. So over here in this in application file one, you answered all questions correctly, right? So you are in the 85th percentile over here. What happened all of a sudden in application file 2? Why did you stop? The passage complexity hasn't increased from application 1 to application 2, right? So what is it? Why is it that you're not able to understand the passages that are there in these files? And in my, so here's what I want you to think about when you look at next time when you, so I'm hoping that you've revised all of these, and I, let me see, have you, so you have, so I'm hoping that you've revised these files or not.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I didn't attempt them.
Okay, so if you have revised these files, then obviously there's no point in you going back to these files. You are looking at these grades, understanding the stuff, that is really good. Okay, but what I want you to understand is next time when you get a C grade or a B grade, think about what your mindset was, how fresh you were when you attempted these files. Were you exhausted? Were you thinking about other stuff? Were you distracted? Did you take these files in breaks? Right? So understand the behavioral aspect of it. Also track the behavioral aspect of when you are scoring A grades, because that is what going to tell you. It's not like your performance is not consistent, right? You're absolutely right. But now we have to get to the bottom of why your performance is not consistent. Got
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
So can you do that? And
yeah.
then share that in the next Thursday meeting, in the next Coach Connect meeting?
Sure. Yeah.
What
So
will you
should
share?
yeah, I mean the analysis of what I was doing, what my mindset was when I was getting B or C's.
And also how fresh you were in when you were doing it. It's all about data collection. See, we can collect only so much data, right? But now you have, I really commend you on taking a look at that data and then questioning why, how on certain files I can do so much better than the median, and how on certain files I can do so much worse. Okay, that question, the very fact that you're asking that question shows me that you are completely invested in the data that you're getting. Now you have to get the next set of data, which you are the only one who can bring in. Okay, which is, because when you're interacting with the content, you are the only constant over there, but your mindset is varying. So now you're going to get data to figure out where the why, what is the source of variability, because the content is also the same. When I say same, from the standpoint of the grading, you are still getting, so when you are performing worse than the median, it's all ranking, right? So the difficulty level is already put into context with those grades that you're getting, right? So you have to figure out the variability that is coming from you. And for that, I need you to collect data and then share with us. Okay?
Yeah. So should I continue with the course further? Right now, I'm in the evaluations. Okay.
Yeah. You are, yeah, you should continue with the course. Absolutely. Right? But just being cognizant that when you are scoring B grade, now you're consciously writing down what your thought process was, or what how fresh you were. Right? So just track that and then share that on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Sounds good. Yeah, good question. All right. One question here. What are you guys joining? I'm really happy to see this. Abhishek, Sagnik, and Rohan. What are you guys joining? I like to see the collaboration happening. Okay, so Abhishek, do one thing. Please put that in the smart sheet. I need to end the session now, and then I'll review your account. Okay. Put that question in the smart sheet. Or why don't you do your own account analysis and tell me to just verify that? Because I think you've seen so many of these account analysis over here real time, right? That you should be able to do it yourself and then share with me your findings, and then I'll say yes or no. Oh, Bhargav, yes, yes. All right. So this will be my last question. Let me see where the Bhargav. Okay. Okay. Let me put this over here. Okay. Okay, Bhargav, let me take a look at your account real quick. Um, Tell me what kind of issues you found when you were solving questions. By that, what I mean is that give me one learning that you had from your error log.
Well, so I think like when I look at it, there are a couple of topics which I think facing issues. So one is the quant basics and then estimation and rounding, right? So there, like after I look at the solutions, then I'm realizing like, okay, this is how it has to be done, and then like then I find it easy. But then like at the time of solving the question, right, it doesn't strike me like how to solve that question, right? How to simplify it. So the areas like if I have to point it out, I think it's mostly simplification and then like inferring things, right?
Hmm.
So that
That's
is where
very
I'm struggling.
broad.
Okay.
Okay, let me see your course here. Okay, one second. On basics is good. All right. Document. Hmm. When did you do the course?
Course, I think it got completed until date.
Hmm. Hmm. So guys, you do have lots of questions. So see, 435 questions, 105. So we've almost doubled the number of questions in Scholarinium. You guys do have the questions. It's just that there's a little bit of a technical glitch that the cementing quiz number is not getting updated. So
Okay.
yeah, so nobody should have any paucity of questions. We have doubled the number of hard questions across the board. DI is still pending, and we'll be doing that this week. So yeah, so you can see 400 some questions. There are 435 questions here. Okay, so yeah, so you have plenty of questions. Bhargav, I would want to see, let me take a look at this one. You've done, I will want to see error log analysis.
Okay.
And I needed to explain that to all of you. Maybe I'll record a video and send that. Um, yeah. See, I need to see how you're solving questions. So take up any one question,
Okay.
and then what I want to see is walk me through. So the way the video that you saw today, right, from Abhishek, the way he's solving the question and he's telling me how he approached the question, right? That way I can get into his mind, so I can understand his mindset when he's solving the question, what kind of analysis he did when he solved the question. And then he was very articulate in telling that when I was solving the question, I didn't think about this, but when I reviewed the solution, I realized this, right? So those are things that I want to make sure that you document. And also, as you are doing the recording, do a screen share such that I can see the correct answer choice and the incorrect answer choice and the accuracy, so that I can put into context. Did you select the most popular incorrect choice, or did you select the least popular incorrect choice? Things like that. Time, median time. So give me all the stats, the stuff that you see on the screen. Start from the prism,
Okay.
and then select the question here. That way, I will see the entire context in the video. I will not really need to log into your account to actually do the review. So your video is all I need to see, right? So do that. Um,
Okay.
I want to see where you're at, because I don't want you to proceed further, because the very fact that you're talking about that simplification is an issue or has been an issue and you've still not fixed it, that is a problem, right? So I
Okay.
want to make sure that we identify all the possible problems that are there and then we fix those, right? So record
Okay.
one error log video to begin with, okay, and then send that to
Okay.
me. Put that in the
Okay.
smart sheet. Okay.
Okay.
All
So,
right.
Payal, this will be for correct question, right? Or this will be for a correct question, like which you answered.
Um, it's up to you. I mean, you can do it for incorrect question. That is going to be
Okay.
better. You
Sure.
can do it for this question also, in which you took 7 minutes to solve. This is way too much.
Sure.
And that was the first question. So, but I would suggest take up the incorrect question to begin with. I want to understand where you're at, and then I can ask you a follow on. Okay.
Okay. So this, like, how should I send it? Like, the smart sheet form itself, or like?
Yes, smart sheet form itself. Send me a Loom video. That's the best, because then I can add comments. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Works.
right. Okay. So I'm going to take Neha's question as the last question here. And let me see where it is. Okay. So this is Neha's question. Um, Follow the course structure, progress up to 50%, took a break off. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm often able to. Time pressure should not even come into picture right now, Neha. No, never. I'm glad that you brought this up. Noticed a pattern after reviewing the answer choices. I'm sometimes able to retrospectively guess what the falsification scenario might be. No, definitely never ever rely on answer choices to help you with falsification scenario. Okay, so don't do that at all. Don't worry about the time. Timing doesn't matter. Okay, I know GMAT is a timed exam, but time does not matter. To remove that time from your dictionary. Okay, all right. So, what you said right over here, particularly under time pressure, that's what you said. However, I struggle to generate that scenario independently, particularly under that time pressure. Neha, you can take the mic. Yeah.
Am I
Yes, go
audible?
ahead, Neha. Yes, yes,
Um,
you are.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I am not concerned about time. If you see my timing of the like how much time I take to cover the concepts, it's quite larger than the recommended time. But one thing I realize is when I read the passage and I try to figure out the falsification scenarios, that is a huge roadblock I face because I fail to uh, think what could be the scenario. And secondly, is when I read the options, I become very heavy with information and I get puzzled. Like, how should I go through the options, or if I'm even trying to extract the right information out of it.
Okay. So I'm looking at your account here. Hmm. So just looking at this here. First of all, I'm happy that you are seeking help at the right time. That is good. Um,
Also,
see,
ma'am,
don't
one
look
thing, I have reattempted the quizzes. However, in few of them, it's not reflecting in the portal.
that's okay. Yeah. What do you mean? For example, this quiz you've attempted multiple times.
Ma'am, practice quizzes onwards.
Practice
Practice
quizzes.
quizzes applications. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. I will make a note of it. Oh, this one is reflecting. Okay. Huh. See, my recommendation to you is the same as we talked about earlier. You have to fix the way you're reading. Comprehension part needs to be fixed. Don't worry about the answer choices. Just get completely immersed in the passage. I would even suggest that don't go further. Revisit these passages once again, all the passages till this point. Not worrying about falsification scenario, keep it on one side. First, just understand whether you're getting everything from the passage or not. Can you explain that passage to your friend in the context of that, in the detail that is required, not in generic terms? So just do that exercise. You have to fix that comprehension first. Only then you can think about falsification scenarios. Does that make sense? Okay, so do that exercise. Don't do anything further. Get that level of confidence that you can understand the passage, right? Because right now I feel that you're looking at the entire question in together and you're kind of losing confidence there. Okay. All right. Okay. So with that, we're going to end this session here. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you on Thursday. Uh, Abhishek, I'll take a look at your account later. I have another meeting to go to right now, right? So I need to stop right now. Okay. So just send me send me a smart sheet question. Okay, so I'll take a look at that. Okay. Arshia, you're done with Quant Basics, starting number properties? Yes. So I would suggest do your cementing quizzes. You should be able to do cementing. Okay. All right, everyone. Good luck and see you soon. Bye-bye.